Hello and welcome to The Week That Was, a weekly news recap highlighting news that matter and breaking down the big story. And this week's big story is the National Highway 29. NH29, the endless delays and the dangerous flouting of safety guidelines. In the midst of multiple tragic car accidents all over our state and the recent visit of NHIDCL top officials, the NH29 is now back again in the spotlight. Joining me is my co-host Esther Verma of Nagaland News Network.
Yes.
You've been covering the story for a while now, and this story is one that always creates a lot of hype and buzz because this is the lifeline that connects our state's commercial hub to its capital.
Yes.
It's one that's been delayed for so long. So before we get into the talking points that we have, why don't you just give the viewers some sort of history on this NH29?
Yeah. So NH29 has come into the foray in 2016 in regard to NHIDCL.
Right.
And many contractors were involved in this. But to keep the story short, in the backdrop of it, I would say that, like you said, endless delays, abandonment by the contractors because of certain, let's say, security issues. Workers ran away, maybe related to security issues again. And then it's just a never-ending story of contractors that come in, going to court, NHIDCL going to court again. And then it's just been going on for a while now. And I think I woke up also personally after the July 4th incident.
Right,
Yeah.
the major
Accident. Yeah.
Yes. So let's get into it then. Just to give like a timeline of the history of NH29. The project was first announced way back in 2003. This was when former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee came to Nagaland and announced the project. For 10 years later, the 2013, the work or the project was officially sanctioned. And in 2015 is where the works actually began. So we're looking at around 8 years ago is when the work actually began.
Yes.
So far, 1,215 crores, as we know, has been sanctioned for the project. And from what we're being told now, the project looks to be completed only in 2025. That's from the latest reports, right?
Yes.
So all this into account, we see neighboring states, and the rapid pace of how they complete their highways. And like I said, this is the lifeline if something like this cannot be completed on time. So the question basically that I'm just putting out is, why is it taking so long to complete? Who should be held responsible, accountable? 10 years, touching on 10 years now.
Yes. So 2015, Gayatri, the contracting agency, Gayatri, they were awarded it. 430 crores. And then they were given 340 crores and then they abandoned it. All right. They could not complete it. Then again, after reassessment, 2016, 2019, Oasis took over. All right. And then 2022, again, without completing it, they showed reluctance. All right. Again, to complete it. And they issued their termination notice to the government, to the NHIDCL. And the same issues again. Workers ran away. COVID happened as well. That whole COVID reason. And then also the weather,
all the landslides
and everything. All those are very valid reasons.
And just to be specific and to be clear, this is particularly for phase 3 that we're talking about, right?
Right, phase 3. But again, the package 1, 2, and package 3. Package 1 starts from Patkai Bridge, right? That one over there, and it goes on for package 1 and 2 till this particular Pipema, that Chapru restaurant that was there before. And then from there beyond is package 3. Now, package 1 is 14.94 kilometers from Patkai Bridge. Package 2 is 13.71 kilometers. And package 3 is 14.21 again. So the NHIDCL is claiming to have completed package 1 and 2 and completed 99.7.
More or less complete. This is what they're claiming.
They're claiming. No doubt, yes, it's there. But most important question is, they've finished it, but what about the safety measures?
Exactly. This is what I was also just, we were talking about this, is that, so for the viewers, we're not, like you were breaking it down, just to be very, basically just put it out there, is that the entire stretch for NH29 starts from Patkai Gate to the Jotsama bypass. Is that like technically that is NH29 and the project that NHIDCL is overseeing, right? And like you said, phase 1 and phase 2 up till Pipima, according to NHIDCL, is 99, which is basically they're saying it's complete.
Yeah.
And the third, like you said, we go up and down, we travel. So pretty much we understand, okay, fine, the road is getting done. But the bigger question that lies is, what about the safety issues, right?
Yes.
You cannot just say it's done because the roads are, blacktopped or whatever it is. The safety issues are a big cause of concern.
Very much. And these safety issues come under a Hill Road manual, It's a manual under something called the Indian Road Congress Guidelines.
The IRC guidelines.
The IRC guidelines. So this Hill Road manual is the IRC SP 1998, right? So this is a 354-page manual, all right, just to make sure that these exact guidelines are followed for hill areas, right? Now, NHIDCL, when I was following it, after the July 4th incident, top officials had come to inspect the area, and they said that these were followed. In fact, the media questioned them a lot during the inspection, and then they had just said it blatantly that they followed it, right? And which is untrue. You can see it with your, anybody who's traveling on that road.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
It's obvious. Nothing has been followed apart from those mesh that they've put. And which is, like, I'll just put it in layman's terms. The slopes are literally almost 90 degrees.
Right.
So in the manual, as we were told also, because we're not, technicians or engineers, that we don't know all these technical words. So for us also, we were like, can you please explain further or make it a little more simpler for us? And then they said, just say 45-degree angle, the
gradient,
slopes and everything. So it's also called a slope protection mechanism that they have to use every time, like those meshes in these areas. But that is exactly why that boulder fell directly and even bounced, So these things are not supposed to happen. Another thing is that the money sanctioned was, for phase 1 and 2, package 1 and 2 was 489 CR, and then they've been already awarded.
Yes, it has already been
387 crore for package 1, 339 CR for package 2, and then package 3 still in the pipeline, 111 crores. So that's a huge amount of money. But like you said, 1,215 CR. But recently, I'll just, I think last week, the MD, the top honcho of NHIDCL, Mr. Mahmood Ahmed, had visited again for this inspection. Now, how many times are they going to come? This is the third inspection that's happening, since the July 4th incident. And the same thing they're telling, yes, we're going to take measures. We're going to take measures. I'm also now doubting the government of Nagaland. How serious are they with making sure that these measures are being implemented? So
True.
Again, the government of Nagaland needs to push them or be more strict. And then, but NHIDCL this time during the visit last week also said, if we're not following the rules, the guidelines, will follow it.
Yeah, that raises a lot of concern, and we should be questioning that. But just coming quickly back onto one thing that you touched on, which is abandonment of projects.
Right.
So specifically, like you mentioned, phase 3, which is, as we also, like the travelers know, is not being even close to complete. It is now been 3 contractors, if 3 companies, which have now been, awarded this contract after cancellation and so on and so forth. So my question is that, does all this, and also, to add on another thing, which is we are well aware of, the big companies, obviously, because of such high criteria, is the big companies that back these contracts. And then they're sort of divided up into smaller projects, which are further sublet to local contractors and such. So another question that, that needs to be asked and put out there is also, does this affect the quality of workmanship on our roads, one? And does this affect to maybe ignorance of such, stringent guidelines that are set by the IRC? And do all these play a role also,
Yeah, definitely. That's with any construction work that's going on. For bridges, for roads or anything. There's a contractor, there's a subcontractor. The subcontractor doesn't get paid. the certain amount. That is the most basic thing that is hindering a lot of progress also. Yes. Non-payment of bills, right? So that is, even today, to be quite honest, I did a report about a bridge in Dimapur, and it's not been completed since 2021. It's a very small bridge.
Which bridge is this?
This is in Sangtamtila, which is Daika.
Yes.
So that bridge as well, because the subcontractor and the contractor had a little
payment
issue, TIF and all that. So it was stopped, So yes, it definitely is a big hindrance when these too many contractors are coming in and out. You have to make new DPRs.
Exactly.
You have to again, and even let me just put in this also, our district administration also, this is under Chumugadima, right? A certain section, package 1 and 2 as well, which is a long stretch. So even the district administration also, they come and go,
Yeah.
So, but this time, I think we have a very efficient deputy commissioner in Chumugadima who has been following constantly. And might I just add that the deputy commissioner of Chumugadima, the pollution board of Nagaland, the agencies or the National Highway PWD has written to the NHIDCL way before the incident of July 4th, saying people are going to die.
Exactly.
And you need to take up these measures soon because they've done their survey.
Right.
They did what they had to do. But NHIDCL just flouted and just ignored all these things, all the official letters.
So yes, now, the main issue or the main cause of concern is the safety issues, right? And as recent as the July accident, the tragic accident where 2 people's lives were lost, this has now become like a hot topic in the sense that everyone knew about the dangers. Like you said, when you travel up to Kohima, you can just see that it's not a safe.
Right. I'll just add, even that popularly known as Mount Nise, the 2 hillocks, or I don't know what you would call it, where even that they have admitted that is very hazardous and very dangerous.
Right.
And still nothing has been done.
Everyone knows that. You're talking about the one right after crossing Pipama, right?
Yes.
So when you cross that area, it's not safe at all. The NHIDCL are saying it's not safe at all. Yet nothing is being done about it.
Nothing is being done.
So these are like questions that I think we should be asking. The public should be demanding answers for as well.
Are they waiting for another really serious accident to happen?
So to just let the people know, one of the main issues is that safety guidelines are set in place, like you mentioned. The IRC, which is the Indian Road Congress, right?
Yes.
Can you just, you said it's a huge manual, but so that people know a little bit about what this is, which ministry they fall under, and they are the pinnacle, right?
Yes.
When it comes to safety guidelines for hill areas.
The Ministry of Transport, of Road Transport and Highways has made sure that this manual, this IRC guideline is there for any construction work of roads, highways, bridges, and then it has been done and written by engineers and various other top experts from the country, so it is something that needs to be mandatorily followed. You cannot surpass it and bypass this manual.
Exactly.
That is as simple as that. And now they're saying if we have not followed it, we will. It's kind of a little late for that now.
So
when 99% is completed, they're contradicting their.
That's kind of openly admitting that
they
have. And then I don't know about evidence or things like that, but if you just travel on the road, any normal person with common sense will tell you that it's not a safe area to be crossing, just looking at it without a technical background also. So another question is the IRC guidelines, which has been put in place, like you said, from the top minds, experts, etc., so that to ensure that these are safe roads, right? The safety guidelines. Why are these IRC guidelines being flouted? How are they being flouted? It's such an important thing. And my question is, who should be held accountable? Should it be the NHIDCL? Should it be the contractors who are executing the work? Should it be the government for not making sure or pressurizing the NHIDCL, which is the regulating authority, right?
Right. So from my point of view, following this story, it is the NHIDCL that should have made sure these guidelines were followed. They had to make sure that their contractors, their engineers, their supervisors were following the guidelines.
Right.
And see, why they flouted these guidelines and just, surpassed and just ignored them, I don't know. But maybe it's because to save cost.
I think that is the obvious one.
Right.
I mean, the one that you think of first. Yeah.
Because now the executive director just said last week that they've spent more or less. It's a project worth 600 crores for the package 1 and 2.
Phase 1 and 2.
But then if you look at the awarded money already, sanction is different again, much higher. And the awarded money is 726 crores. That's a lot of, more than 100 crores just.
So where is it gone?
Where is that gone? So all these questions are very much NHIDCL should answer, and they've not provided any DPR to any of the officials. They've not provided the exact cost because it keeps changing. It kind of just goes haywire.
Yeah. And so now that we know that, they are the ones who should be held accountable, right?
Right.
What is the state government doing then when it comes to, taking them to task? Because the recent Legislative Assembly a statement was made by
our Chief Minister.
You can just shed some light on that.
When I was attending that, I was really happy to hear that the Chief Minister, Nipurio, had said that because I think the opposition, leader of opposition, had questioned about the progress of this exact road that we're speaking of. And then he said that if anything found wrong or guilty of, then they will take the NHIDCL to court. If the NHIDCL is found flouting, this is one of the biggest mistakes that they can make, first of all. So
costing lives.
The DC would definitely make sure that he writes, about all this to the government, because he's overseeing all of this work. And then I'm sure the government is going to take a very strong stand, because it is on record that the Chief Minister has said they're going to take them to court.
Yeah, so this is a big issue because when you look at one of the main concerns from recent, whether it's press releases or statements made, the completion of the work, the urgency to complete the work, this is put up very high, which it needs to be. We have been, as the public also are looking for this work to be completed at the earliest. We're at 8 years now. They're saying 2025, that's 10 years.
10 years.
But more than that should be that all safety measures are implemented and followed.
Right.
All these guidelines are followed, right? Because that is the bigger picture. Like you said earlier, are we waiting for another tragedy to happen?
Yeah. And also, if they're not following it in such an important route, like the National Highway 29 that connects the biggest city, commercial hub, to the capital, plus to another state like Manipur, because it was shut down for almost 2 months, the highway, after that tragedy on July 4th. And everybody was affected, including our neighboring state. Right. And if it is not being followed in such an important road, I question if all these guidelines are being followed in other districts in our state, smaller districts, because they have a lot of projects in the state under their hands. So if they're not following it here, I highly doubt that it is being followed. Yes, interior parts.
So this is a story that will continue to develop, of course. But what would you pose as the big question from you, or what the public should be also demanding to be answered?
I think instead of questioning them too much, also I think I want to question the NHIDCL. Why are you still denying about not following when it is right in front of everybody's eyes? And we have proof. There's official documents saying that people are going to die. Why they would take up safety measures immediately last year, but they did not do that. And then I just question, why are they denying it so much, first of all? And what about the cost, the exact cost? Come on, the DPR, everything, the exact cost. Why are they being so secretive? And another thing I want to mention over here is they had a meeting with the National Highway in charge, our Deputy Chief Minister, T.R. Ziliang. So they were having the meeting and with everyone, with NHIDCL, with BRO,
all parties involved,
all parties, stakeholders. So they have also said that they're going to put the contractor's name on signboards on this stretch of road, the stretch of highway. That is still not done yet. Right? It's been more than almost 3 months. It's not going to take long to put up
a signboard.
A signboard. So still, if you just go there even now, you're not going to see any work done.
Right. So, we'll wrap it up here. My question would be of course, the NHIDCL, why is there so much secrecy? Why is there no accountability? And on the part of the government, why isn't this being, why is there not much pressure being put on NHIDCL?
Correct, yeah.
And we understand the urgency to complete the highway is also very important, but all the things that have happened in the recent past, why are they not taking action against them?
I'll just add to this about the secrecy when you said, even last week when the managing director came in and the DC was there and the media was there, he didn't want any of us present for the inspection. Now that is again, why doesn't he want
right.
the DC who's overseeing the whole project, first of all, from this side, he's the district administration, and why are you hiding it from the media? Why don't you want the media? Why don't you want the deputy commissioner present during was a very important visit?
Right.
In fact, he should be more than happy and open about it.
Yes.
So yeah, all these things need to be really.
I think these are big questions that need to be answered from many quarters, like we said, whether it's the NHIDCL, from the government standpoint also, and even maybe the local contractors need to be pulled up as well.
Yeah.
So that was the big story of the week. We will now conclude by leaving you with news that made the headlines in the past week. Links to these full stories will be available in the description below. Along with my co-host, signing off, and thank you for tuning in. Until next week, stay informed and stay safe.